Good morning. Glad you're still with us. You're still watching KBC Channel 1. Now we shift focus from matters politics and as well what is happening in Kisumu County as far as traffic is concerned. And we talk matters finances and investments. Joining me live from the United Arab Emirates, to be specific, Dubai, is none other than my guest this morning, who is a financial educator, a Kenyan at that. And that is none other than Sheila Mboga. Good morning. We hope that it is morning. This is Good Morning Kenya. Hi Sheila, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?
I'm great myself. Glad to have you on board. Now we're speaking matters finances and entrepreneurship. Now, maybe you can start off by telling us what are the common mistakes that most people make when they're seeking out to start off in the matters of investment.
Thank you so much, Gladys, for your great question. One of the mistakes that most people make is investing in things that they do not know. So you find someone putting money in something that they just heard, maybe people on social media saying they got investments. For example, the quail business. We saw a lot of people investing money, yet they did not know much about it. Another mistake is that most people like to invest in things that will give them quick returns without having to do their own research and know the time period that a certain investment might take for them to be able to see returns. So you find that a lot of people in such an instance, they fall in the hands of pyramid schemes and conmans because they are looking into making money quickly without having to know the time period they need to invest their money. And another problem is most of the people who want to invest, they really do not want to actively participate in the investment tool or project. All they want is to be told you will earn, but they don't want to know how will I earn, what will my money be doing before I can earn. So those are the three major problems I can say that most people face when it comes to investing.
Now, Sheila, this is Regina here. My friends also refer to me as Ray. Glad to have you on board. Now that we've established that these are the common mistakes that most people make when they're looking to do some investments, then, in your role as a financial educator then, how do we get over some of these issues like lack of research, the euphoria? How then does one identify a viable investment?
Thank you so much, Regina, for such a great question. As a financial educator, the first thing we do, especially at Financial Wellness Center, we first of all take our customers through an education program for an investment opportunity they would be interested in participating in. So once we educate you about that instrument, for example, if you want to invest in the stock market, we will not just let you go to invest immediately. We'll first take you to classes, let you understand what is a stock market, what are the terms that are used when it comes to investing in the stock market, what to expect, and how to go about it. Then after we've educated you, we then give you a test to determine how risk averse are you. Because when it comes to invest, people who are highly who are ready to invest in highly risky assets, while there are people who can only invest in low risk assets. So we'll do a test for you first so that you can know what kind of an investor you are. Then we can recommend to you what tools will be able to match your risk capability. Then after we've assessed your risk capability, we'll now go to the next level whereby we now allow you to know, we give you options on what can work based on your financial capacity. Remember, when it comes to investing, not all tools can be invested by everyone. There are tools that can only be invested by people of a certain financial capacity, while others can be invested by a certain class of people. So we let you know, we educate you first, we do an assessment for you to know what kind of a risky investor you can be. Then from there we can give you options on what to invest in based on your financial capacity.
Now, other than just identifying what type of an investor I would be, there's this hurdle that we call capital. In as much as you have a bankable idea, there's the issue of capital. In your opinion then, and this is something that really holds back a lot of people, especially women and youth, from getting into business or other startups, how then do we circumvent? What would be your advice on how to circumvent the hurdle of capital for startups? It seems we are having a bit of a technical difficulty in as far as our reception here back in Kenya, the studio we have here. But there is our guest this morning, that is Sheila Mboga, who is a Kenyan based at the United Arab Emirates, who is a financial educator and runs the Financial Wellness Center. Just joining us this morning in our segment where we got to speak matters business, matters finances, and entrepreneurship. Earlier on, as she was responding to the questions that we had posed to us, just some of the common mistakes that most potential investors make while getting ready to get into investments is that moving with the crowd, the euphoria, as well as not doing adequate research in regard to, what are you getting into, what does it require, how long will it take for you to break even, and also the third being you are looking for quick returns on your investments. What we need to know is that they are short-term, medium-term, and long-term investments. Once we reconnect with her, that is Sheila Mboga from the United Arab Emirates and Dubai. It seems that we have her back online to just continue with this conversation, where we are talking matters of entrepreneurship. Sheila, great to have you back online. Now, before that particular hitch, we were talking about capital, and we wanted to hear from you. What advice as a financial educator then would you give to a startup or a potential startup in regard to the hurdle that is capital?
Thank you so much for your question, and sorry for that technical hitch. When it comes to capital, we have various ways you can get capital. One way is by approaching capital venturists, especially for people who want to do startups. So if you're having a great idea that you believe is going to be viable in the business world, you can
it seems we're still not getting it right here. Maybe some network interruption there. But we are talking about entrepreneurship this morning, and our guest is live from the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Sheila Mboga, who is a Kenyan but based there, is just sharing her insight as a financial educator and also the head of Entrepreneurship Center down there in Dubai, as to how then we can go about making our investments. We were just highlighting the common mistakes that most people make, the issue of going with a crowd, that is what we term as euphoria, as well as not doing adequate research as to where you want to venture in, and also the quick hunger for quick returns. You know that we have long-term, medium-term, as well as long-term investments. You just need to know then which area you are getting into and how long it will take for you to break even. Once we get her online, she will also be sharing insight as to where the investment opportunities are, whether or not we are having this global pandemic, that is coronavirus. There are some potential sectors that are looking promising in as far as investment is concerned. And just looking back at Kenya, some of the areas that we've had over the last few months that have already shown potential is we are looking at matters of ICT, information of things, matters, just being the technological space has already created an avenue for disruptives in as far as tech is concerned, as well as matters of agribusiness. Remember, there's no time that a man has to eat to live. So that agribusiness is also proving to be something that we can all invest in. Sheila, it seems we have you back online. Just to take you back to that question that we had earlier asked you on the issue of capital. You had mentioned that a potential investor, if you're having a problem with capital, they should approach a capital venturist. Continue, please. Well, it seems we do not have her back online. Just to remind you that we are indeed live. You can send in your feedback in regards to what we have aired from 7 all the way to right now, including your views on the just, made public BBI report there, with a lot of conversation reigning on that. Wanjiko needs to grab a copy and read for themselves before making any decisions. Remember, it might go either way. Either it can be taken to Parliament for pressing, or it might lead to a potential referendum. We'll be keeping tabs on that, as well as we will be keenly focusing what is happening in Nyeri after, the arrest of Rigathi Gachagua over matters of corruption. That's some of the developing stories that we're going to be following up for you as KBC Channel 1. Now we take you back to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates there, with our guest this morning. We're seemingly having a bit of a technical hitch, but we will circumvent that too. Now, Sheila Mboga is a financial educator. Over to you, Sheila. That response about matters of,
as I was saying,
matters of capital. How do we circumvent that hurdle for startups?
Yes, the other option is for them to approach the government. We do have government fundings for startups. And another option is to look for raising capital through friends and family. We do have friends that can support you with capital. Maybe you repay it back at an interest, or your family can give you some money just to help you start up. So capital should never be really a problem. The problem should be solving a market need in the marketplace first.
Now, where does the potential lie in as far as investment is concerned? You can look at the Kenyan market, or even while investing abroad. We understand that you are you are in Dubai. Investment opportunities there in which sectors?
Investment opportunities vary, varying with the preferences of the investor. However, we do have various investment opportunities. Like right now, the stock market is a good place to consider, bearing in mind with the ongoing pandemic. We've seen quite a number of company shares going down, so it's a better time to consider investing in the stock market, as well as the real estate, because many people are of their equity due to the effects of the pandemic. So if you have enough money or capital, you can then invest in real estate at a lower price, as most people are currently disposing of their assets. And we can consider investing in things like gold and other commodities, because we see most of the global markets are being affected by pandemic, going up and down. So things like gold and oil is something that one may see the advantage of in that season, as this is the best time where you can get value for your money.
What should one be looking for in an investment? You've already highlighted the mistakes that we commonly make, but then what would one be looking out for in as far as investments are concerned? Maybe you can tell us a short-term, medium-term, and long-term investment. What should one look for?
The number one thing you need to look for is the risk associated with the investment. Remember, we have investment tools that are highly risky, which refer them as volatile. And we also have investment tools that are lower in terms of risk. But we don't have an investment tool that is risk-free. Every investment has a risk associated to it, so you need to check which risk is associated to a certain investment tool. Then the second thing, you need to check on the return on investment. The main reason why we invest is to be able to multiply our money. So you need to know what are you going to gain from that investment. And the third thing you need to really consider is the time factor. How long is the investment going to yield? And bearing in mind, it should be in line with your financial goals. So if you are planning to invest for short term, it's important for you to invest in tools that can offer you returns at a short time period, rather than investing in tools that will give you returns in long term. I'll give us an example. Maybe you are planning to invest some money so that you can be able to pay school fees for next year. It would be illogical for you to invest in a long-term tool, like let's say a real estate property that is yet to even be developed, that is going to maybe increase in price after 10 years. So you see, if you invest your money in such a tool, you will not be able to gain returns on time. So considering the time factor is very important. And finally, we need to check on the amount of money required for the investment tool that you are interested in. We've seen a lot of people who commit themselves in investment assets that require a lot of money. Then along the way, they drop out because they are not able to keep on funding the investment. So check on the financial capacity that is required and see if it's in line with what you are able to raise or have, so that you can fully invest in a tool or an asset. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Now, would you advise a person, an individual or a group to invest or rather consider investing abroad?
Yes, I would. I would really encourage everyone to consider investing abroad. The reason is you are able to diversify your portfolio. So you see, when one market crashes, definitely there will be a market that is not crashing as compared to you investing in only one market in terms of geographical location. So I would encourage people, when you are investing, you need to diversify your portfolio, and one way of diversifying is by investing in other countries or abroad. So to me, it's a yes. I always say when it comes to investing, there is no free lunch. Only diversification is the only free lunch you can get when you are investing.
Now, we've had so much in as far as investment and Kenya's daring abroad. And, you know, the United Arab Emirates and other areas within the Arab world have been painted in a bad light. Maybe you can just tell us how your experience has been as we come to a close and wind up this conversation. How your experience has been as a Kenyan working in the United Arab Emirates.
Thank you so much for highlighting that. I believe there is always two sides of the coin, and so far I can say for me it has been a great experience. I have had the chance to work in a multinational and a diversified culture. So you are able to learn from different people who come from different countries and continents, and be able to have a bigger perspective of how things are done or how things are viewed from different cultures. So I would say when you are planning to, relocate or do anything, it's important for you to have in mind there is always two sides of the coin. And, before you make that decision, it's important for you to do your own research and be prepared.
Thank you very much, Sheila Mboga, the financial educator based in the United Arab Emirates. They are live on KBC Channel 1, Good Morning Kenya from Dubai, sharing her experience in as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. Now, before I let you go, I'm sure you're catching up with the current news that is happening back here at home. So yesterday, the BBI report was made public. And some of the key highlights is some of the proposals is that youth startups are going to get, a tax kind of haven or a tax amnesty of sorts for a period of 7 years going forward, to just enable them, run this businesses as it is. From where you sit as a financial educator as well as a youthful person, what's your take in regard to that proposal?
For me, I think it's the best proposal, especially for entrepreneurs, because when you get a tax amnesty, that means that you, as a business person, you have been helped to cost cut in terms of paying taxes. A lot of businesses can agree with me that we pay a lot of money to ensure that you are paying our taxes. So for entrepreneurs, that is a very good move, and it's something we really need to be happy about, as it will help us in our cost-cutting measures, as well as it will cause a ripple effect, because when your taxes are reduced as an entrepreneur, you are able to reduce the prices of your products and services. So when you reduce the prices of your product and services, then the customer or the consumer is able to enjoy your product and services at an affordable price. So it is a win-win situation, and I really, really am grateful for such a move by our government.
Thank you very much, Sheila Mboga, who is a financial educator based in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai. And she's a Kenyan, saying that indeed that's a good proposal contained in the BBI report. Remember, this particular report was made public yesterday, and President Uhuru Kenyatta, while addressing the nation during that particular forum, urged you and I to grab a copy, read and understand, so that when that time comes, we can make the